Hi guys, it's KINO. Welcome to another video. So today's pick a card reading is going to be messages and predictions for your month of December 2023. We are going to start off with a general overview of your month. So we'll take a look at the main themes of your month, the main energies that you're going to be working with, significant people, as well as significant events and changes coming your way. And then we will dive into the specific areas of your life. So we'll see what's going on in your love life and relationships, your career and studies, and your spiritual and personal growth. Today there are 3 readings for you guys to choose from, and we have a little pal to represent each reading. So I know it's so hard to choose because they're all adorable, but I'm going to show you each of them up close one by one, and then please pick whichever one or ones you feel drawn to the most. For group number 1, we have this reindeer. For group number 2, we have this snowman. And for group number 3, we have this bear. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number 1s, so if you guys chose the reindeer, this is going to be your reading for your month of December 2023. We are going to start off this reading with the general overview of your month. So we're going to take a look at the main themes, main energies, and significant events that will be coming your way this month. And we're starting off with, this is a crystal oracle deck, but as you can see, the cards also have chakra associations. So your card is a crown chakra card, and your crystal is purple jade, the royal healer. So this crystal comes in the colors light to dark violet. And I want to just focus on the emotional qualities part of this card. It says, brings deep calming, integrates mind, body, and spirit, helps resolve emotional issues, brings mutual understanding, supporting greater sensitivity to other people's emotions, brings inner peace, harmony, humor, and spontaneous joy. And the affirmation says, I am one with the divine order. Can I just say, this card is making me really emotional, but like in a happy way. I feel like I could just cry tears of joy looking at this card because there's just such a feeling of contentedness and inner peace. And I think this is especially such a beautiful energy to have in December because obviously the year is coming to a close, and there's really this feeling of you being at peace with everything that has transpired in the past year, feeling proud of yourself for what you've been through this past year and of where you are now and how you've handled yourself in various situations, and sort of saying to yourself, I wouldn't have done anything differently. I'm very happy with where I am now. I'm at peace wrapping up this year. Like, I don't have any regrets. I don't have anything that's like, that I feel was left unresolved or that is like nagging at me. It just feels like this really happy, peaceful closure of a year. And also this understanding that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And I think you're closing off this year with a lot of gratitude for the divine as well, like for the divine aid that you've received from your spirit guides, from your guardian angels, from the connection that you have with your higher self. I also get the sense that it feels like there's no pressure. As this year comes to an end, there is no pressure. I think that, you know, a lot of us celebrate holidays around this time of year, and there can be so much pressure to buy people presents and, you know, spend a certain amount of money to make sure we get something nice, and to, you know, see all of our family members, maybe, you know, travel to see certain relatives or scramble to make a big meal for X number of people. And oh, I have to remember to send this person a card and this person who lives out of town, and send a text message to this person. Like, it can be kind of a hectic time of year where there's a lot of pressure. And I just feel like this year, either like that pressure just doesn't exist, or you are refusing to put that kind of pressure on yourself. You're like, I'm just gonna have a low-key, peaceful end of year. I'm gonna spend it reflecting, giving myself rest, being proud of myself, being grateful for myself, for my spiritual team, for my loved ones. I feel so like peaceful and joyful with this card. It's a really, really beautiful energy. Okay, this is also a chakra related card, so let's see what we have here. Okay, so you guys have not only the crown, but the third eye. So I think a theme for your month of December is like connecting to your spirituality, using or developing your psychic abilities. And there's a certain like spiritual or emotional depth for you this month where you're not concerned with the surface level things that you would usually be concerned with. It feels like you're not concerned with material things. You're not concerned with like superficial things. You're focusing on building a deeper relationship with the spiritual, with your higher self, with your guides. And this is making you feel like a sense of clarity of what is really important. I love that together. And like we have the number 37, which my brain is just immediately reducing that to 1. I feel like you are ready. You're ready for a new beginning. You feel this like peaceful closure of the year, and you're just laying low, resting, recharging, and preparing for the new start. So let's take a look at a couple of astrology cards for you to see any other insights about your month. Okay, so we have the sun. The keywords are demonstrate, realize, act like a leader. And then we also have the creation of, the gaining of respect for or from, and things brought to life or light. Some of these are like fragments of a sentence because you're supposed to line them up and like make phrases, but I just kind of use them individually. I feel like actually interpreting this in a literal way first, where in the month of December, you may be spending more time outside than usual, whether that's just going for walks outside or doing some kind of outdoor activity. If you live somewhere where it is cold and snowy in the month of December, you could also be traveling to somewhere warm. You know, that's what the sun is making me think. So spending more time outside or spending time somewhere that is warm, kind of like a sunny or tropical destination. You could be making a trip like that or planning a trip like that to kind of escape the coldness of the winter. I think the sun is also a sign. It goes back to this spontaneous joy. You know, I'm thinking of the sun card in tarot. It's a very just happy, uninhibitedly joyful and carefree card. So this also makes me think of, we don't really have the same stresses and pressures this year that we usually would feel around this time of year. I feel like if there's certain stresses or even like trauma that resurfaces or triggers that resurface around this time of year, this year we're kind of feeling liberated from that. Like we're just feeling peaceful, and those things that would usually get to us are not coming up and bothering us. You feel at peace, and you feel empowered in choosing your inner peace. With Act Like a Leader, your like radical self-love and the decision to choose yourself and choose your inner peace could actually be inspiring people around you. I think this Act Like a Leader is showing you setting an example, especially with demonstrate as well. This could also be indicating you in a leader position, like at work, for example. You could be stepping into a leadership position or into a position where you have more responsibilities, or there's more people looking up to you or looking to you for guidance or direction. We have you're gaining respect as well. So there is a vibe of you being in a higher position with things brought to life or light and creation. For those of you who are creatives, you could be finally like wrapping up a creative project and you're ready to share it with the world, like you're ready to put it out there. I also think there's a feeling of plans that we've been talking about for a long time are finally happening. And an example of this that's coming to my mind is, let's say at work, your manager has been talking about training you for a different position for like 3 months. And they keep saying like, yeah, I'm gonna promote you, I'm gonna train you for this new position. And now it's like finally actually happening. These plans that, or something that someone had promised to you or was talking about with you, it's finally happening. Or maybe, you know, you're creative and someone said to you, like, we should totally collaborate. We should totally work together on something. I want to feature you on my new project. And they'd been kind of just, the word that's coming to my mind is dangling. Like dangling that idea in front of you. And now it's like, oh my gosh, we're finally doing it. Thank goodness. That's kind of the vibe with this. And then, ooh, we also have the moon in Taurus with exaltation. That makes sense because I think the moon is exalted in the sign of Taurus. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not 100% sure on the dictionary definition of the word exaltation, but I think it means something like you are, you know, put up in a very high position and you feel like you're in your element, you feel like you're really shining, you feel like you can really show your full potential. I'm just getting the feeling of you're stepping into a different role or you're stepping into a higher role. And in this role, you really feel like you can shine. You feel like this role just suits so well your natural abilities and your natural strengths. Like you're in the perfect position it's like putting a fish in water. You feel like the fish in water. You feel like this is exactly what I was meant to do. So this seems like quite a fulfilling month for you professionally and creatively as well. And these look like cornucopias, so there is a feeling of abundance coming to you. You're gaining respect, you're gaining, you know, wealth from the position that you're in. And you feel good and you feel happy in it because you know, like, oh my gosh, this role was made for me. Like this is such a fit for me. In terms of zodiac signs that could be significant this month, with the sun here, a Leo person could be significant, or a Taurus person, or this could be someone who has, it could be the sun in Taurus or the moon in Taurus, or again, like sun in Leo or moon in Leo. But what I also want to do, I'm just grabbing my phone because we do have moon in Taurus. That could be a time of the month that is significant. So I'm gonna see what dates the moon is in Taurus, and that will be December 22nd to the 24th. The dates might be slightly different if you're in the Western Hemisphere because my app is on like Japan time, but it says, the 22nd to the 24th. Those could be, significant dates. So let's get into our tea leaf cards now. We're going to see any other little events or details that you should know about. We have Jug, lighthearted, carefree time. So that makes a lot of sense with what we've been talking about. This also makes me feel like a celebration for some reason. You could be engaging in holiday festivities this month, but it feels more low-key and intimate. It's not the type of gathering that you go to out of an obligation and oh my gosh, there's so many things to prepare and we have to like entertain and put on a big show for our guests. It just feels like a small, low-key, intimate type of gathering. Like you could literally just be ordering pizza with your best friends or with your immediate family and watching movies and laughing together, and it doesn't have to be this big thing with pressure. Or maybe you decided we're not going to buy each other presents this year, we're gonna make each other presents, or we're gonna make cards, or we're just not going to do that. It feels very no pressure. We don't have to do it the way we've always done it. Let's just like enjoy each other's company and do whatever we want. We also have tent, temporary situation. Okay. And broom, new home, new attitude. So that's interesting. Two cards that are focusing on, tent is not a building, but you know what I mean. There's like two shelters, two places to stay. And we have new home and we have temporary situation. For those of you who are planning to move, you could be moving this month and then there's a place that you have to temporarily stay in between. like in between the old place and the new place. Or you could be staying at someone else's house for a few days during this month, and that could be something that feels kind of fun, because like you're out of your usual environment. It's having the vibe that I'm getting is like, let's say you're staying at a friend's house for a few nights and you're like, oh my gosh, like I haven't slept over at a friend's house since I was a kid. Like this feels so fun. Like we can stay up and eat chips and gossip, and it's like you're kind of out of your usual routine and you feel like, oh, we can have fun, we can do whatever we want. So yeah, I feel like you're at least going to spend a few days in an unfamiliar environment. Like unfamiliar as in not your house, not like, oh, what's this place, this is weird. Just in a place other than your home, and that's kind of going to change your attitude or change your mindset and make you feel more carefree. It also kind of has the feeling of pajama day at school. I don't know if you guys do that in your country, but in Canada, at least where I grew up, we have pajama day, and that day just feels like it's not a normal day. So it feels less pressure, you know? It just feels more like we can relax and have fun. And so a change in your physical environment is going to be facilitating that, basically. So this concludes the general overview part of your reading. So we are going to get into the specific areas of your life now. As you can see, I have one tarot card and one oracle card each for your love life and relationships, your career and studies, and your spiritual and personal growth. So let's start off with your love life and relationships. For your tarot card, we have the Page of Swords. And for your oracle card, we have Speak Up, which that makes a lot of sense, because the Page of Swords, that can talk about communication. This, to me, actually, I'm not sure. It feels like communication is being initiated with someone, and there is a feeling of we're kind of entering into a topic that hasn't been brought up before, or we haven't really gone in depth about it before. And the number 12, it is making me think of the Hanged Man, and this feeling of, you know, the Hanged Man comes before the Death card, and the Death card is all about, it's a transformative energy. So it feels to me like there's this conversation that you've been wanting to have with someone, or that you're due to have with someone, that would be deeply transformative for your relationship, but it's kind of been a long time coming, because the Hanged Man, it feels like you're left hanging. You're left hanging, you've been wanting to address these things, and I feel like with this energy, it's like you're finally getting to do it. With the Page of Swords, there is a feeling of addressing truth and just being very open and honest, and you know, that's not always an easy thing to do. Sometimes the Page of Swords can indicate truths coming out that are kind of hard to hear, but I feel like once you and whoever this other person is get these things off of your chest, it will feel really good. You know, with Speak Up, there's a feeling of like, I've been having something to say, and finally now is my time to do it, or I've been knowing that you want to say something to me, so just speak up, just say it. I know that it's hard, that maybe you're afraid that things are going to change in our dynamic, but maybe that's a good thing. That's the thing with death. It's like, it's the fear of the unknown. After death, we're like, do we go, is there nothing? Or do we go to heaven? Or do we go to some kind of afterlife? Like, we don't know unless we go there. And something about this conversation kind of feels like that, where it's like, we've maybe been hanging here and stalling it because there's this fear of, once we open up, we can never go back. We can never unsay the things, or we can never unknow what the other person said, but we just have to be open and blunt. and we just have to get it all out. It's funny looking at this. This is reminding me of a guitar. You know, this is like the whole of the guitar, and obviously there's way too many strings, but it's just, is there way too many? Yes. And it's just making me think of like, you know, the strings of a guitar. So maybe someone who plays the guitar is significant. An air sign person, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius could be significant, or a Pisces person, because we were talking about the Hanged Man. Also Scorpio, because we were talking about the Death card. But yeah, it feels like there's a conversation that needs to be had, and it's going to feel really, really good to have it. It's going to feel like a weight lifted. Whatever the outcome is, there's a feeling of like, oh my gosh, I'm glad we finally just, you know, cut to the chase and we're really honest with each other. And, you know, all of these flowers coming out, it is making me think of a sense of appreciation. Like, and also, you know, opening up and blossoming to the other person. So we're opening up about things that are difficult to open up about, and recognizing in the other person, I recognize that it was hard for you to do that. I recognize that it's not so easy to have this kind of open and vulnerable conversation, and I'm really appreciative that you shared these things with me. So that's a nice energy. Let's take a look now at your career and studies. That makes a lot of sense too. Just as the cards keep coming out in your reading, I'm like, yep, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because we were talking about you in a leader position, gaining respect. We were talking about abundance. And then you're literally coming out as a king in your career. In your career and studies, you're coming out as a king. King is a leader. A king has respect. Usually. You are a leader who has respect. If you're not a leader, like if you're not a boss or a manager or leading a group, this could also be you becoming an expert or in something, achieving a level of mastery over something. You could be, for example, completing a course, completing the most difficult level of a course, or finishing a course with the highest, you know, the highest honors, or the highest level of qualification, of certification. You could, you know, get an A, you could ace your exam. There's a feeling of you coming out on top and feeling like, oh yeah, I'm an expert at this now. And then of course, in the workforce, this is really like getting promoted, moving up to a leader position, or I'm hearing like finally getting the recognition that you deserve, which I think took a long time. Some of you guys could be in an industry where you have to put in the hours, or you have to put in the years to get the respect that you deserve. And so if you're younger, for example, if you're younger, or if you don't have a lot of experience in the field, even if you're crazy capable and crazy smart, it's like you won't gain that respect until you've been there for X amount of years, or until you have X amount of experience. And there's something about that's just kind of how the mindset is in that field. You could be new to the company and smarter than one of your superiors and more skilled, but they're still gonna get more credit just because they've been there longer. So like those of you who are in a system like that, or in a work culture, or it could have something to do with your country's culture as well. It's like you're finally gaining the respect from those people. There's that kind of feeling. We also have grounded. So earth energy is coming through quite strongly too, because, you know, the King of Pentacles, this is earth, grounded, also earthy. You could be gaining respect from an earth sign, so a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn person. But I also think that this is indicating stability and security. So you have job security, you could be offered or entering into a long-term position. You could be getting a raise in your salary. This is something that is consistent and long-term. So it feels less like a one-time bonus and more like a consistent raise in your salary that's going to benefit you for many years to come. Looking at this number 45, the age 45 could be significant to you or someone else who is relevant. But I also think that your spiritual team is saying you have the potential to stay in this position or to stay doing this job for 4 or 5 years at least. Or maybe some of you are in a study program that's 4 or 5 years. For those of you who, if you're also, there's a message from your spiritual team, if you're taking a bit longer than most people to finish a study program, that's totally fine. Like if you're studying part-time, or if you took a gap year, or if you had to retake a class, that's totally fine, because you're gonna get to your goal eventually, and you shouldn't rush yourself. It's like the more you take your time, the more you're really grounding and internalizing what you're learning. And so there's really only benefits to taking your sweet time. I know our society likes to rush things, but slow and steady does win the race at the end of the day. And I think grounded is just like, you feel really secure in this position. It doesn't feel like something that is unpredictable. So I'm gonna have this job, I'm gonna have this same money coming in, I'm gonna have these same clients, whatever it is in the long term. There's that feeling of like, I'm set, I'm good, I know I'm gonna be good for, throughout 2024 as well. I'm already set for that. Yeah, so finally, we are gonna look at your cards for your spiritual and personal growth. So for your tarot card, we have the Queen of Wands. So that's interesting. All of your tarot cards are court cards. We have the Queen of Wands and Patience with the number 17. That's the number of the Star card. There is a pretty big wish coming true for this group, either in your job, in your creative pursuits, or in your living situation. But I think for most of you, it has to do with something that you want to be. A wish about something you want to be, and you're getting to be that. So for example, I wish I was a writer. I wish I was a pro athlete. I wish I was ripped. Like something that you want to be, rather than, it doesn't necessarily feel like something that you have or something that is coming to you, but it's like something that you want to embody and become. I wish I were a certified Reiki practitioner or something like that. And you are becoming that thing. And yeah, I think that's what this Star card is talking about. And it's like, through this wish coming true, first of all, what I should say, star wishes, it always feels to me like when the wish does come true, it's everything you ever dreamed of and more. So when you were in your visualizations thinking about how happy you would feel to be in this position, it feels exactly like that and better. And it's so much more than you could have ever imagined. But I also think this wish took longer to come true than you had hoped for, or that you had planned for. Which is interesting, because we had that message when it comes to your career and studies of, don't be discouraged if you're taking longer than your peers to finish a program, or to achieve a certain goal, or to get to a certain position. Don't be discouraged by that taking more time. And I think that part of your personal growth is really finally like understanding, well, I shouldn't say finally, like, oh, finally you get it. It's that was bad wording, but feeling for yourself the importance of patience and how rewarding it can be. And realizing that because I took my time, because I went at a slower pace, or because I had more time, when this wish did come true, it was better than I ever expected. Realizing the value of patience. And also, there's something about realizing that, because it's like, what does it mean to want to be something? I think you're realizing that what you were wishing for this whole time was, I guess, an external validation that you in fact are this thing, which I think is important. But part of this is kind of a realization that you were this thing all along, but now you're just performing in life as this thing. So I don't know, let's say you're like, I wish I were a tarot reader, and that wish has come true now. Well, you always were a tarot reader. You always had that in you. The only difference is that now you're playing the role in the world, and you're being recognized as such by the people around you, which that's important, and it will feel really, really good for you. But it's kind of this beautiful dawning on you that like, this was in me the whole time. I was always a tarot reader. It's just that now I'm being recognized as this thing. And of course, it doesn't have to be a profession. It can be any aspect of your identity. But it's like, I didn't have to wait for people to acknowledge that, yes, I am this. Yes, this is my identity, to validate it for myself. I'm not gonna lie, it feels really good to have this external validation that this is who I am. But I wish past me realized that I didn't have to wait for this validation to feel proud of myself, or to feel that, yes, this is who I am, and I'm proud of that. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. And I think you're also realizing that, you know, feeling confident in who you are and coming into yourself and feeling good in your skin, that's something that takes time too. And not believing in yourself or struggling to love yourself is not a moral failing. It's, you know, it's something that you learn how to do. It's something that you grow into. It's something that you practice, especially in a society that sometimes seems so hell-bent on making us not love ourselves. It is not a moral failing to struggle to take care of yourself, or to struggle to be confident. And maybe in some ways you were consciously or unconsciously beating yourself up when you struggled with self-esteem. And again, it's like, I wish past me was more kind to me and was more patient with me while I figured it out. Yeah. This is all about just being proud of who you are, and kind of, it's like part of you, maybe it's bittersweet because you look back at your past self and you're like, I wish they knew that they always had permission to be proud of who they are. But we know now, and that's all that matters. And so moving forward, we will be unapologetically proud of who we are. Yeah, so these are all the messages I have for my group number ones. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and a wonderful month of December, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch dozens of exclusive pick a card readings just like this one, and you can also decide on topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really appreciate your support, and I'm sending lots of love to you, to anyone who appeared in your reading, either directly or indirectly. And I'm sending love to your spirit guides, your higher self, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Hi number twos. So if you guys chose the snowman, this is going to be your reading all about your month of December 2023. We're going to start off with the general overview of your month. So we'll be taking a look at the main energies, the main themes of your month, as well as significant events. The first oracle card that we have for you is a crystal and chakra oracle deck. As you can see, the card that you guys have is associated with the heart chakra, and your crystal is green tourmaline. It comes in the colors dark to light green. We have the keyword trauma relief, and I'm just going to focus on the emotional qualities. It says connects the heart with nature to provide nurturing and heal emotional trauma, allows for expansion of the emotional body, brings compassion, deep empathy, and self-nurturing, attracts success, abundance, and good luck, brings compassion, and inspires gratitude. And then we also have the affirmation, I release my suffering. So a big theme for you guys in the month of December is this kind of emotional healing, releasing trauma, releasing suffering. We have this message about connecting the heart with nature, and I definitely think this is talking about, literal physical nature. You may be called to connect with nature this month and spend time outside, which is actually a message that came up for group number 1 as well. But I also think there's something with this word nature, as in you are returning to your nature. You're returning to a way of being that feels natural, embracing your natural self, your natural personality. It's like there was some trauma that you were carrying that had you acting not yourself, I guess is the best way for me to put it. And once this wound is healed, it's like you're back to normal, so to speak. Not that you were ever not normal, but I hope you know what I mean. You are back to your normal. You are back to your natural. You are back to what feels like you. There's also a feeling coming up of, I hope that I can explain this well, but when someone is going through a problem, there's kind of 2 ways to approach it, where it's like some in one approach will just go straight to trying to fix it and trying to find a solution and trying to take action on the problem. And then the other approach is just to sit with the problem and just to observe it and make space for the emotions that arise. And we're not necessarily doing anything about it. We're just allowing ourselves to experience it. And I feel like something that's happening for you guys in the month of December is that, first of all, I feel like you've been on a healing journey for quite some time, and that perhaps you have been in that phase of, I'm not going to do anything about my emotions right now as if there's something to be fixed. I'm just going to see what they have to say. I'm just going to sit with them, get to know them, make space for them. Like, you've been in that kind of energy, which I think was a really important phase of your healing journey. And I feel like now in the month of December, you're moving more into an energy of taking practical action to improve things, like finding solutions. I almost want to say, I don't know if this is like perfect wording, but I almost want to say taking on like a masculine approach to healing that is solution-based and action-based. Whereas before we were in an energy of just observing and allowing and making space, which I think was really important, but it's almost like we are moving into a new phase of the healing journey as we progress. And this next phase is going to be beneficial for you as well. I also think that there is message about, success, abundance, good luck. Green tourmaline makes me think of especially success in business. For those of you who have your own business, you could be having a very good month in December, or the company that you work for could be getting a lot of good business. There's a feeling of having a lot of customers, or it may not necessarily be about the quantity of customers. You could also have a few really good, loyal, and high-paying customers, but there's a feeling of business is doing well. And that also, the more emotional healing you experience, the more fulfillment you will also experience in your career, and the more abundance that will come your way. That's lovely. So for your next oracle card, we have faith, hope, support, miracles, and spirituality. So spirituality may be really helpful in your healing journey. Incorporating spiritual concepts or incorporating the help from your spiritual team, that could be something that is really beneficial to you in this healing journey. I definitely think with hope and support, there is a feeling of some kind of suffering is being relieved, or some kind of trauma is being relieved from you. And this looks like the light that is at the end of the tunnel, that you really feel like the future is bright for you. And with this being the last month of the year, I think you're definitely going into the new year with a sense of this next year is going to be better. It's going to be a good year. And you can confidently say that. You can confidently affirm that to yourself and really believe it. And this is the crown chakra. It's almost as if you can just sense it. You can just sense it. You can just tell that some big blessings are coming in the new year. I love that we have the keyword support as well, because whatever healing it is that you're doing here, this shows me that you're going to have both divine support, but you're also going to have a support system in your 3D life. Friends, family, professionals who are assisting you in this healing journey in a concrete way, and you will continue to have that support system. And with the word faith, I also just heard faith in humanity. So for those of you who have been betrayed, hurt, just done dirty by other people, and you are maybe starting to lose hope in the goodness of people's hearts, I feel like something that's happening in the month of December, whether it's a specific kind deed that someone does for you or just the support that you're receiving from people around you in general, it's almost restoring your faith that there's good people out there. And the hands, it's also making me think of lending a helping hand. And I'm thinking of the expression, many hands make light work, which, oh my gosh, that expression, it's like light work as in not a lot of work, but many hands make light work. And then I thought about light workers. So something that's making you excited and also bringing abundance to you. You could be really conscious of your role as a light worker and incorporating that into the 3D profession that you do and feeling very fulfilled in your job, because you're like, as I do this work, I know that I'm also fulfilling my light work mission. And I also think that the support system that you have, your friends and family, they are also light workers and very much in alignment with their mission. That's funny. Yeah, many hands make light work. It's like you're doing light work with your support system, with your loved ones. But I also think that expression came to my mind because it's really highlighting that you're not on this healing journey alone, and that so many people want to see you do better and feel better and thrive. So let's take a look at your astrological cards to see what other insights we have about your month. So we have the sign of Aquarius. These are kind of fragments of sentences, so I'm gonna just change the wording so it makes a bit more sense. We have your vision, what's new and different, use an unconventional way. And then we have genius, to experiment with, discoveries, and eccentricity. And after this coming out after the faith card, people support your vision. Something that's happening in the month of December, kind of in tandem with this healing, is sort of the dawning on you of what your purpose is in this lifetime. I really do think, regardless of what your profession is, you do have the role of being a healer. I think one big reason you are on this earth is to be a healer. And whatever work you do is going to lend itself to that. And there's a feeling of just, with this healing happening for you, a blockage is being removed. And your vision of the future is becoming more clear to you. Your vision of what you are meant to do on this earth is becoming more clear to you. It's almost like removing this trauma. It's freeing up so much of your bandwidth. It's freeing up so much of your brain power. It's like I'm imagining dynamite that's just clearing up this space, and now you have all this room for downloads and inspiration to come in. All of the gunk just got blasted out. That's what your healing feels like. And now, like let's say, for example, this is just one example, but maybe someone was carrying a trauma that made them stifle their creativity because they felt like it was bad, or that made them stifle their spiritual beliefs because they felt like that was bad. It's like all of these things were suppressed and sort of stuck in the gunk of this trauma. And now that that's being cleared away, it's like we have total clarity. And you'll start to notice this happening in the month of December. Really clear visions about what your future is meant to be, and really clear visions about why you're here. I think a lot of you will be realizing that, or maybe you have already realized this, but many of you in the month of December, I think, are realizing that you just won't be happy in a conventional job. You won't be happy like working for someone in a 9-to-5. And I think you're going to be feeling like you want to do something that's kind of against the grain, so to speak. And you'll actually find that your vision is being supported, and that as you start to talk about what it is that you want to do, you notice that the people around you are like responsive and they're getting excited about it. And this is a really happy change for you, I'm hearing. You definitely have genius. You are meant to invent something new in this world or discover something new. You're definitely meant to embrace your weirdness, so to speak, because this is going to lead you to new groundbreaking discoveries. There's a new approach that you're taking within your field or a new system. I'm also hearing a new system that you're creating, that you're developing, that hasn't been done before. And it's like you needed your creativity to be unblocked, but because of some trauma that you had experienced, it's like you shut down your creativity because either you felt like your creativity was a luxury and you just couldn't focus on it right now, or your creativity was even like demonized, or your creativity was like condemned in some way before. I'm using very dramatic words, but it's like your self-expression was shut down. And now that it's free, it's like you can freely tap into that genius again. We also have domination with Mars in Sagittarius. Just, Sagittarius having to do with religions and beliefs and the cross that we have here. I don't want to get too deep into it. Some of you guys maybe were experiencing some kind of religious trauma and you're overcoming that. But it feels like something that once had control over you doesn't anymore. And Aquarius, it's the rebel. Aquarius is rebellious. So it's like something was dominating over you and now you're rebelling and saying, no, I won't let you decide who I am. I won't let you control me. I won't let you define me. I won't let you oppress me. I won't let you make me feel bad or wrong. You are overcoming this and reclaiming your unconventionality and reclaiming your brilliance. Woo! And there's something about what you're doing too that you really stand out from your competition. I also see this as you are meant to dominate in a certain industry. Maybe dominate is not the best word because you're not doing this to anyone else, but you're meant to lead, like be a thought leader in a certain industry. A Sagittarius person or Aquarius person could be significant, or someone who has Mars in Sagittarius, or someone who has Mars in Aquarius, or someone could have these ascendant signs as well, Aquarius or Sag rising. And I also want to see when the moon will be in these signs because those could be relevant dates for your month of December. And I'll take them as a window because Sag and Aquarius are close together. So the moon enters Sagittarius on the 11th of December and it exits Aquarius on the 18th of December. So that week in the middle of the month could be significant between the 11th and the 18th. And there will actually be the new moon during that time, so that makes a lot of sense. the new moon in Sagittarius will happen on December 13th. So that new moon could be really powerful for you. And, you know, the few days leading up to it and the few days after, basically. But yeah, I think Mars and, you know, green, that's the masculine aspect of the heart, and Aquarius and Sagittarius are both masculine signs. Mars is a masculine planet. It feels like you're really stepping into your divine masculine. Like, I'm in charge of my own life, and it's time for me to really start taking actions towards a life that makes me happy and finding solutions to the things that haven't been making me happy. And it's not that one way is right or wrong. I think the previous energy you were in of just observing it and sitting with it was super, super important to your healing. But everything is a season, right? So you were in that season and now you're in this season because, you know, this time of your life is calling for you to step into your masculine energy. I like it. Okay, so let's take a look at your tea leaf cards now. So any other events, any other things to be aware of this month? We have Owl, good advice from a wise person. And actually, as soon as I see this owl, I want to read from my pocket guide to spirit animals because I feel like this owl is very important to you guys. You will see the owl around you, or maybe you have already been seeing the owl around you. Meditate in silence and in darkness for a few minutes each evening for the next few days and see what is revealed to you. Be alert to any deception on the part of others, whether they're aware of it or not, and look closely behind any guises that they may wear. This is a particularly ripe period to tap into the fount of intuitive wisdom that's available to you. Quietly observe your environment, watching and listening for signs and omens that will give you answers to any questions you may have. Now is a particularly significant time for prophecy, exactly, like seeing a clear vision of your future. Your psychic abilities are very strong this month. They're strong in general, but they're very strong this month. And I think the owl is really confirming that. Like, pay attention to what is revealed to you through meditations, through dreams, through visions. Now is a particularly significant time for prophecy, and you will see, hear, or feel events before they actually happen. Your most creative cycle now is the night, so set aside time in the evening to work on any projects. Interesting. And look out for this owl because he will be around. We also have Bat. Take care, enemies are working against you. So, and didn't the owl passage say something about being aware of deception? So we have a wise person who wants to give you good advice, and then we have a deceptive person who is giving you bad advice. Bat advice. Anyway, and it's interesting too because I think that passage was saying this deception could be unintentional. So maybe someone is giving you bad advice, but it's not like they're purposely giving you bad advice to mislead you. They might just not know any better. So I do think there is a message about just being picky about where you get your guidance from or where you get your news from as well. And it's very interesting because I think owls have really good eyesight, right? So that they can see little mice running around in the dark. And bats are blind as shit. So this wise person who's giving you good advice is awake. This person giving bad advice is not awake. That's kind of the vibe. There's just a feeling of be discerning about whom you take advice from, where you're getting your guidance, where you're getting your facts. And at the end of the day, always check in with yourself. Like, does this resonate with me? Does this feel right? And we also have haystack karma. You will reap what you have sown. So anyone who intentionally deceives you, I do feel like that's going to come back to bite them. Or anyone who has intentionally hurt you or betrayed them, there's a feeling of like they will get their karma. And honestly, the greatest revenge is you just living your best life, honestly, and just being unbothered by their influence anymore. So don't worry about getting back at anyone, so to speak. You know, they're going to learn their lessons. I'm not saying they're going to get punished, but they'll, you know, they will learn. They will learn, they will grow, they will heal. And that's not your job to worry about. That's not your business. You focus on living your best life and getting your good karma. So this concludes the general overview portion of your reading. So we're going to move into the specific areas of your life now. I have one tarot card and one oracle card each for your love life and relationships, your career and studies, and your spiritual and personal growth. So for your love life and relationships, we have the King of Swords, and we have Imagine. Right away, I'm noticing there's the elderly lady here on this card. So when we're talking about significant relationships in your month of December, there could be a grandparent who you're very close with this month, or who's or a relationship with a grandparent that you are closely examining or unpacking. And this grandparent could be here on earth, they could be on the other side. I don't think it really matters. And also this dog could be significant. A companion animal could be significant to you at this time, providing you comfort. Also, this animal could be here or on the other side. And going back to that message about connecting with nature, something that could be very healing for you is spending time outside with a companion animal. So for example, if you had a dog, going for walks with them could be really, really healing and just really good for your soul. And it's also coming through that those of you who do have a companion animal, they are a soulmate of yours. So, and they're always with you, whether they're incarnate or not, they're always with you, and they're always like a soulmate that will keep coming back to you. It's like an animal soul that you incarnate with throughout your lifetimes, which is very sweet. I really like the energy of this King of Swords. Your spiritual team is saying there is someone in your life who is a very good influence, and maybe that's who this owl is representing. I'm getting the vibe from this person that they are very realistic and rational, but they're also a very optimistic person. They choose to look on the bright side of things. And they're very wise, as this owl card says. And you could be getting some really valuable advice from this King of Swords person in the month of December. King of Swords, it can indicate a man, it can indicate someone who's older than you, it can indicate an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or all of the above. It definitely doesn't have to be, but it's the vibe of someone who's very even-tempered, mellow. Why am I imagining Dumbledore right now? Like just a happy old wise person who gives very good advice. And they could be a little bit quirky as well, but they have a way of getting to the heart of things, and they have a way of helping you look within and find the answers that you need. And this person is going to play a really significant role for you this month. There's also a feeling of you brainstorming with a group of friends or with a group of loved ones, because with Imagine, it's like we're making up ideas, we're using our creative muscles, and then the King of Swords is analyzing and planning and deciding how to execute things. And this kind of goes back to the visions that you're having and what you want to do in the world, and your support system really receiving that and building on that, and you guys bouncing ideas off of each other. It's this feeling of, I see you in a group of friends or a group of coworkers or a group of collaborators, and you're just excitedly sharing ideas about what you want to create together and what you want to start. And it's just a really beautiful energy. And the people that you have around you, what's really nice about them is that they do encourage your imagination and your creativity, and they do want you to dream big, but they're also very realistic. And when I say realistic, I don't mean pessimistic of like, come on, let's be realistic. Do you really think you can do that? I mean, wow, that's an awesome idea. Now let's think of a realistic plan that we can execute. So, you know, realistic in the sense of it's sustainable for us. It's feasible. Let's make that plan so that we can make this happen. It's this beautiful combination of optimism and realism that is coming through. And I just think this month you are feeling so supported in your creativity and in your eccentricity and in your healing, like just so loved and supported and nurtured. And it's really, really beautiful. And also you're having a lot of support from people on the other side as well, like passed on loved ones, ancestors. They're really coming through for you at this time as well. Like it's time for you to do something really big in your life. It's time for you to create something really big. And so it's like all of your loved ones, incarnate or not incarnate, it doesn't matter, but it's like they're rallying around you to ensure that this happens, to ensure that you can play out your light work mission. Wow, you're on the brink of some kind of breakthrough when it comes to pursuing your purpose. And with that, let's take a look at your cards for career and studies. So for your tarot card, we have the Two of Swords. And for your oracle card, we have Memories. I'm noticing there's a lot of air energy for this group, even from the heart chakra. The heart chakra is related to the element of air. Aquarius is an air sign. King of Swords is an air sign. Two of Swords is Libra, which is an air sign. More specifically, it's a Libra moon, in case that's relevant for some of you. But you may find that you're surrounded by a lot of air signs this month, or perhaps you have a lot of air placements, or it's just kind of showing that a big theme of this month is about ideas and brainstorming and working your intellectual muscles, that kind of thing. Now, it does seem when it comes to your career and studies that you are at a crossroads, and I feel like that makes a lot of sense because you've just gone through this big healing journey. You are starting to receive all these downloads about what your calling is. And so when it comes to executing that or deciding what we're going to do, it's like you're coming to a crossroads about it. You're kind of torn between two paths. And with Memories here, there's a feeling that maybe the past is influencing your indecision. So you're on this path in your career, in your education. For some of you, this could look like you're on this path A, and then path B starts calling to you because you have these nostalgic, fond memories of path B. And you're like, should I stay on path A or should I move over to path B? Because like, I'm just having all these fond memories about it. It's like when you see an ex after a long time and all of the memories start flooding back and you're like, do I miss this person? ? It's kind of like that feeling, but with a job or with something that you used to study. For others of you, you could be on path A, feeling called to path B, but you're hesitating because you have a painful memory from path B. You're like, my soul is calling me to path B, but I remember last time I went down path B, it didn't work out or I got hurt. And so it's like some memory of the past, whether it's good or bad, is kind of clouding your judgment or just affecting your judgment. But the Two of Swords, we don't see a person on this card, obviously, but usually we would see someone who's blindfolded and there's a moon in the sky and it's saying we cannot make this decision by looking with our physical eyes. We have to make it with our intuition. We have to go with where our soul is pulling us. And so I do feel called, for a lot of you, I do feel called to say like the memories are kind of clouding your judgment, because it's data that your brain is looking back on and saying, well, if it was like that before, then it's going to be like that this time around too. Because your brain likes to just take patterns from the past and project it onto your future. And I feel like that's not really the case here. I hope that that makes sense. So, you know, if you start feeling called to another path because you're like, oh, I have such good memories, it's like, don't let those memories influence you. If you do decide you want to break off to path B, if that's truly what your soul is calling for you to do, then you should do it, but not because of memories that you have. Does that make sense? Because just because you remember something being good, your brain likes to think, oh, because it was good before, it will also be good now. And that's just not necessarily true. And the same way, if you're being called to a path, but your brain says, no, because I have a bad memory of doing that before and it didn't work, that doesn't mean that it's not going to work again. Your future doesn't have to be a repetition of your past. So it's okay to choose whatever you need to choose, but I think there is a piece of advice of don't base your decision on like past data, because that past data is no indication of what can happen for you moving forward. And go with what your soul is telling you, go with what your gut is telling you. And if you're having a hard time figuring out what that is, talk to this Dumbledore, this wise person, because they'll help you look within and find the answer. Or remember what this owl card said: meditate in silence and in darkness for a few minutes each evening and see what is revealed to you. Okay, so finally we are going to look at your cards for spiritual and personal growth. So for your tarot card, we have the Hanged Man. And for your oracle card, we have Abundance. So right away, this is making me think of finding blessings in those in-between moments and seeing every moment of your life as an opportunity to experience true joy, true unconditional joy. The Hanged Man, he is kind of in an awkward in-between phase. He's like the cocoon. I'm not a caterpillar anymore. I'm not a butterfly yet. I'm just this amorphous thing hanging from a tree in a weird sack. Like, I'm just kind of this in-between thing. And so you may be in this weird in-between phase of life where, you know, I know that I'm doing better than I was before, but I'm also not quite where I want to be yet. And realizing that life doesn't start when you get to where you want to go. It's already happening right now, and there's already beauty all around you. There's already blessings to experience in each moment. And I think this spiritual and personal growth is just really about embracing that in between and not delaying your happiness. Maybe you're in this phase where I know that I've made amazing progress in my healing journey, but I'm not completely healed yet, but I'm not going to delay my happiness. I'm not going to wait until I'm completely healed to allow myself to find love, for example, or to put myself out there and pursue what I want to pursue. You may have a tendency of delaying like that. Almost as if I'll reward myself once I turn into that butterfly, because then I'll know that I'm worthy of this abundance. Then I'll know that I've earned it. I'll be happy once I heal from this trauma. I'll be happy, I don't know, once I reach this position in my job, then I'll have it together. But once you reach that goal, there's going to be like 5 other things that you don't have together. And we really are always the hanged man. The idea of fully getting there is an illusion. And if you wait for that to be happy, then your life is going to pass you by. So I think it's just about recognizing that every moment is the perfect time to feel like you've made it. Every moment is the perfect time to be grateful, to feel blessed, to feel accomplished. You don't have to wait. You don't have to delay feeling like you've earned happiness or like, now I have it all together. So yeah, it's about embracing being that cocoon. And I do like that we have this abundance card, because we also had the message here about abundance coming in, success, especially success in your own business. Some of you guys could be making money from an unexpected source while something else is on hold. Something that you didn't expect, because the Hanged Man is also about kind of seeing things from a new perspective. So let's say there's someone who, I don't know, they have in their head the only way to make money is getting hired by a company and clocking in and going to work. And then they lose their job and they're trying to apply for new jobs and they can't find one. So they feel like this hanged man. They feel in between. I don't have my old job anymore, but I also don't have my new one. I'm just in between jobs and I feel like I'm stuck. And they're like, okay, well, to kill time, I'm going to start live streaming or something. And then all of a sudden they're making a ton of money from live streaming. So it's like, while they were in this in-between stage, their brain was telling them, like, you're not going to make any money during this stage because you're in an in-between. So you're just doing something to kill time, just to keep busy while nothing's happening in your life. Meanwhile, things are very much happening and now you're making money. So it's like some unexpected thing that you do during an in-between in your life that you're not even really thinking about could become something quite big for you. And I think how that relates to your personal growth is, again, like, we don't have to wait for certain things to happen, for certain milestones to happen to say, now I can start getting shit done. Now I can start being happy. Now I can start being abundant. The opportunities are always there. And that also just goes to show that sometimes your brain is inaccurate with the patterns that it creates. Well, all the money I've made before in my life was from getting employed at a job. So that's how it's going to be for me in the future. So if I want to make money, I have to wait for my next job. And I feel like our brain just unconsciously does this. It's just like copy pasting patterns from our past. And I think this is you just being open to completely new avenues to find abundance and happiness, and realizing that it can literally happen at any second, regardless of what stage you think you're at or how much longer it is to your next milestone or whatever it is. Those like chapters that we put on our life are so like arbitrary anyway. Everything is just now. So anyway, I really hope that made sense. But these are all the messages that I have for my group number 2s. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself. Stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch dozens of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings just like this one. And you can also decide on topics for future videos. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I will also link my latest release down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Group number 2, thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, anything I do. I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate your support, and I'm sending so much love to you, to anyone who appeared in this reading directly or indirectly, and to your higher self, your spirit guides, your owl, all of your loved ones on the other side, your ancestors, your companion animals, all of your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Hi number threes. So if you guys chose the bear, this is going to be a reading all about your month of December 2023. I want to point out, as soon as I started to film, did you hear that car? Did you hear the car honking? As soon as I pressed record on the camera to start filming your group, I noticed that there was the noise of an airplane flying overhead, and I thought maybe that's significant. Maybe you guys will be going on a plane in the month of December or making some long distance travel plans. And then as I was about to say that, the car honked outside. So I definitely feel like there's some kind of travel going on for this group, or you're making plans for a big trip coming up. But anyway, let's get into your cards. So we're starting off with the general overview part of the reading. Basically, we're going to see the main energies, the main themes of your month, significant events that are coming your way. And the first card that we have, this is a crystal and chakra oracle deck. So as you can see, your chakra association is the sky chakra, which I imagine is above your crown. And then the crystal that you have is white howlite with the keyword structure. The color is white with gray striations, as you can see. I'm actually wearing white howlite right now, this bracelet. And this is made by Amorinette, aka Cindy, who is another reader, artist, accessory crafter here on YouTube. I have the link for this bracelet, by the way, if you guys like it. This is your stone. So anyway, I'm gonna just focus on the emotional qualities part of this card. It says calming, cooling, absorbs and clears negativity, brings emotional balance, softens anger and emotional turmoil, quiets the mind, relieves insomnia, brings perspective, inner peace, patience, and soothing. For some reason, I really want to focus on this relieves insomnia. If you do suffer with insomnia, this could be a month that is markedly better than the type of sleep that you usually have. Or some of you could be having circumstantial sleeplessness. And what I mean by that is that maybe you've been having trouble sleeping because there's been worries that have been weighing very heavily on your mind. And so this card is here to say that those worries will be taken care of so that you can sleep well at night. Or even if it's something like noise or an uncomfortable environment that has not been allowing you to get good sleep, I feel like that's going to be fixed as well. And I just feel that you are very well rested this month, and you're going to be noticing how that affects obviously your physical energy, but how that affects your moods as well. With this message of calming and clearing negativity and softening anger, I'm just getting the feeling of someone who has been stressed, kind of highly strung, and who has been tired. And this maybe was leading them to be more irritable than usual or have a shorter temper. Just getting frustrated at things that normally wouldn't bother them. So for those of you who have been on edge, I feel like in the month of December, we're seeing a softening of this where you're just a lot more zen and a lot more rested. And I also feel like you are BS proof in the month of December. People's BS is not getting to you. And I'm hearing, especially in the workplace, if there's a particular coworker, boss, or customers that you deal with that are just annoying, to put it bluntly, you will be BS proof. And I think this just comes from cultivating your inner peace and not allowing these things to disrupt you, which is very much easier said than done, but I think you're doing a very good job of that this month, and just being like, my inner peace is too precious to let you come in with your BS and trample all over it. You're really maintaining those boundaries and protecting your energy. So we have another chakra card here. Also, Howlite and Sky is making me think of Howl's Moving Castle, which could be a significant movie for some of you, or maybe that would be a movie you would enjoy if you haven't seen it. Anyway, so for your next card, look at that. We have boundaries and 444 on the camera timer as I'm showing you this card. Repeating 4 is definitely a number of protection. It's a very strong and stable number. So this is huge protection of your boundaries. I think this is something that you guys are committing to. Some of you maybe have experienced a burnout recently, whether that's work related or even a creative burnout, a social burnout. And I think you're realizing, first of all, that you don't want that to happen again. But in order to not have a repeat of this burnout, we need some more sturdy boundaries to build these up and enforce them. If you guys do resonate with that message of being more irritable or being more tired or just having a quicker temper or not as much patience, that could have also been a result of poor boundaries. You know, small transgressions to your boundaries can really add up. And, you know, a little, you know, saying yes to something you didn't want to take on, a little one here, a little one there, a little bit of ignoring your needs to people please over here. It all adds up. And I feel like you were carrying a lot of weight from chipping away at your own boundaries that was maybe affecting your personality, like making you a more irritable person or a more snappy person. And it's like, because you're tired, you're burnt out. And this feels like a recovery and also a prevention that this won't happen again in the future. We're going to really firm up our boundaries and really protect them. And a big part of that is feeling like you deserve to have these boundaries. This is the solar plexus chakra with the yellow border. And this chakra often makes me feel I deserve to be here. I deserve to take up space, and I don't have to prove my worth. And maybe in the past, there was a part of you that oddly felt like you needed to earn boundaries or you needed to be worthy of them, when in fact, that is your inherent right to decide what your boundaries are and to state them and to uphold them. And I think that's something that's really ringing true for you, really dawning on you in the month of December, that in fact, it's a necessity. Otherwise, you get burnt out. Otherwise, your mood suffers, your energy levels suffer. Maybe even your health suffers. This is an area, you know, the solar plexus area, that has to do with your stomach. So some of you could have also been dealing with digestion issues that had to do with poor boundaries. Basically, that had to do with you feeling drained or feeling like you can't express your needs. That emotional stress could have been causing stomach issues or digestive issues for you, and you'll see that those are clearing up as you commit to living a more peaceful life and not absorbing BS. Okay, so next we have a couple of astrology cards. So let's see what other information we have for you. We have the moon. We have defend, accept, let your feelings tell you how. So when it comes to setting your boundaries, obviously there is no science to it. And the moon is all about cycles. It's all about fluctuations. And so your boundaries can definitely fluctuate. They don't have to be like, what do you call it? They don't have to be brick walls. They can fluctuate depending on how much energy you have or who you're dealing with, and you are allowed to change your mind. And it can very much be something that is based on your emotions rather than just like a hard and fast rule. But I also think this is about letting your emotions tell you where your boundaries need to be, accepting what they tell you, because your mind might come in and say like, oh, but is that reasonable? But is that valid? When really the whole point is about protecting your inner peace, and it's your emotions that will show you how to do that. It's your emotions that have to be honored. So we're accepting our emotions, and we're also going to be willing to defend them. Hopefully you don't have to do this. You know, hopefully you would not get pushback or questioning for asserting your boundaries. But I think this is just you being protective over yourself, accepting what your boundaries are and being willing to defend them to other people, nurturing yourself. Yeah, this is all about honoring your feelings, the moon, because this is literally your emotions. This is literally your inner world. And then we also have rebellion. Yep, rebellion with Mars in Aquarius. When you start to stand up for yourself, it could feel like you are rebelling. It could feel like you are fighting back. And you may often hear this, or you've often experienced this yourself. When you start to look out for yourself more, sometimes it can feel like you're being selfish, or like you are withholding something from others that they were entitled to, and that you feel guilty for doing this. That might be something that you deal with, but I do think over time those feelings will subside. And yeah, this does feel like an act of rebellion for you, which is, it's not. It's really just reclaiming. Well, I guess that is rebellion. It could be, depending on your situation, reclaiming what's rightfully yours, which is your own energy, your own time, your own efforts, your essence. Yeah, really reclaiming yourself. Someone with Mars in Aquarius could also be significant, whether that's you or someone else in your life, or someone with the moon in Aquarius. And actually, this came up in group number 2 as well, moon in Aquarius. That could be a significant time of the month for you. And I do remember when that is, because I just looked it up for group number 2. But it would be roughly like the 16th to the 18th of December. Around that time, something significant could be happening. But let's take a look now at our tea leaf cards to see any other events or other little things that you need to be aware of. We have hand, in need of help, assistance, and guidance. Table, hard work ahead. And tulip, great passion. Okay, so, by the way, tulips make me think of the month of May, because in my hometown we have the tulip festival in the month of May. So a person born in May could be significant, or you could be making plans for something that will happen next May. Perhaps it's those travel plans we were talking about with that, you know, with the plane flying and the car honking. And I just looked up to the camera timer, which was at 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes me think of progress, building. So it seems like you're planning for something kind of big in your life that maybe will come to fruition around next May. Kind of a specific message. We have a repeating T, so the letter T could be the initials of someone significant, or a country, a city, a company that is relevant to you. I really like these two together, hard work ahead and great passion, because it does tell me that you could be quite busy in the month of December. You're hard at work on something, but I don't get the sense that it's going to feel like hard labor. Like, yes, you are putting a lot of effort, but it's something that you are very passionate about. And so it's something that you are gladly doing. Maybe, you know, you've reclaimed a lot of your energy and time back for yourself, and now you can pour that into something that you really care about, something that you're really passionate about. I'm hearing for some of you, if there's been something you've been wanting to do around your house, some kind of redecoration or renovation, a DIY project. Of course, if that is something you're passionate about, this could be the month where you are able to do that. But yeah, you're definitely working hard on a passion project or a work project that you just happen to be quite passionate about. And with this hand, in need of help, assistance, and guidance, this could be indicating that you will be receiving assistance on this project, or part of this project that you're working on involves you helping others. Yeah, so that's a beautiful message as well. This concludes the general overview part of your reading. So now we're going to get into the specific areas of your life. As you can see, I have one tarot card and one oracle card each for your love life and relationships, your career and studies, and your spiritual and personal growth. So let's get started with your love life and relationships. For your tarot card, we have the 6 of Cups. And for your oracle card, we have Attacked. Interesting. The 6 of Cups in this context with Attacked, I'm definitely feeling pulled to the meanings of your past and your childhood specifically. This is related to the sign of Scorpio. So a Scorpio person could be significant, especially a Scorpio sun. That'd be cool if someone's like a Scorpio sun, Aquarius moon. But the energy of Scorpio represents our shadows or our subconscious, which I think it's very fitting that this growling face is in the dark. It's coming out of the shadows. And it may look threatening, but this creature is just wants to protect itself. It's baring its teeth to protect itself. Put together, this is making me think of triggers from your past. That could be something that you are unpacking in the month of December. It could be within a relationship you have with a specific person or just in general. It's also interesting that we have this message of reactions. It seems like there's some childhood wound that you may be carrying that is affecting your relationships, which I think we all have. But what your spiritual team is saying with these cards is that it may cause you to get triggered and then kind of be reactive in a way that is not favorable to you or in a way that is not helpful. And it's, you know, it makes sense because there's a part of you that wants to jump to your defense. There's a part of you that senses danger. It's like you have a hypersensitive alarm in you that if there's any sign that maybe what's going on here could be a repetition of my childhood wound, this part of you jumps to your defense. And so could get triggered easily or could become reactive easily. And I think that's something that we're healing in the month of December so that we don't repeat the same cycles in our relationships. A lesson that you could be learning in relationships is that balance between acknowledging and validating your emotions versus reacting based on your emotions. So when you're in a situation with someone and one of your triggers comes up, I do think it's important to acknowledge it and feel it and observe like, okay, this is what I'm feeling right now, but recognize that you don't necessarily have to choose to act on that and be like immediately reactive in the situation, and just give yourself time to process how you're feeling and make the conscious choice of, do I want to go with this narrative? Do I want to act on this trigger, or do I want to give myself time to like process and calm down and choose a different reaction so that I can break this pattern? It's like you're breaking patterns in your relationships that maybe have been harmful, and kind of challenging the narrative that you have told yourself. When certain things happen in relationships, maybe you're quick to say like, oh, this person doesn't care about me, or I'm being attacked right now. This person is mad at me and they're gonna leave me, or whatever it might be. It's almost like this gut instinct to jump to conclusions of like, oh, so you're saying blah, 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 and immediately being on the defense and maybe even assuming like someone has bad intentions, because that keeps you safer. I'll assume it just on the off chance that you do have bad intentions. I'm ready to protect myself. There's that kind of feeling. So, protecting yourself is very important, like we've spoken about in the first part of the reading, and we definitely do need to have that alarm system in us that goes off when there's some danger and be like, no, I have to protect myself from this. But it seems like there's some area in which that alarm is kind of sensitive, or we tend to jump to the conclusion that like we're in danger or something bad is going to happen, or this person must have a bad intention, or this person must not care about me. And then that causes us to react in like a not so great way. And so I think we're just being more conscious of that in the month of December. And yes, validating our emotions, yes, sitting with them, but choosing to not like perpetuate that same reaction and consciously choose a different one. And that's something that will greatly improve your relationships, especially like your significant relationships with, you know, with significant others, with friends, things like that. So moving on to your career and studies. For your tarot card, we have the Eight of Swords. And for your oracle card, we have Rest. Interesting. So I feel like this is a time where you will be able to take a break from those responsibilities or tasks that feel like a chore and get to focus on what, oh, okay, interesting. And get to focus on what you really want to do. That was, whoa, okay, confirmation. Confirmation. So anything involved with your work and your studies that you're like, ugh, you don't really have to be doing that in the month of December. And so you get to work on what really excites you. You get to work on what is fun to you. What I'm seeing coming up, this is a month of shadow work, I'm realizing. Like when it comes to identifying boundary issues, identifying triggers, and then there's an interesting belief that I think we're addressing here, because the Eight of Swords, it can talk about limiting beliefs, and I think that is what it's talking about in this situation. There's this weird thing going on mentally where I feel like in the month of December, you are working just as hard as you always do. You're working just as much as you always do. But because you're doing something you really enjoy, you're not stressed and you're not exhausted. And then your brain tells you you're not working hard. You're being lazy, you're slacking. Because I guess there's this mechanism that's like hard work equals stressed out. Hard work equals pushing myself to do what I don't want to do. Hard work equals being exhausted at the end of the day. And that's good. That means I'm hustling. And it's like, so when you're doing your usual annoying tasks, you're like, oh yeah, I'm working hard, this is good. But then when you're doing the exact same amount of work, but it's something you like doing, it's like your brain just picks up that pattern of like, I'm not stressed out, so I must be slacking right now. Does that make sense? I'm not exhausted, so I must not be working hard. And then starts to kind of be hard on you that you should be working more. And it's like, if I'm doing what I like, that's still work. I just happen to like it. It's like this weird association with work is the stuff that you don't want to do, but then you're so disciplined and so alpha that you just like get up and do it because like you just override your emotions and you show up and do it because you have such big muscles. Like there's a little bit of that going on. I don't know why I threw in that alpha stuff. Maybe it's because there's a little bit of that in the alpha grind set. But anyway, I think we're maybe addressing that or becoming aware of that too. That hard work doesn't have to look like dreading what you're gonna do and proving how disciplined you are because you showed up anyway and got it done. Like hard work can also look like getting up and being at peace and easing your way into the work and enjoying the process and having fun. That's also hard work and that's also valuable. And yes, maybe you're having a mental break because you don't have to do as many things that are like tedious for you, but I mean, practically you're still working quite hard. So, and you should embrace this new kind of work because I think you're gonna have a great time. Yeah, but it's like it's kind of like a funny thing that your mind is doing. Like, oh no, that doesn't count because that was fun. It's like, huh, okay. I mean, give yourself a pat on the back still, like you did an amazing job. Anyway, now let's get into our cards for spiritual and personal growth. Oh, we have the 10 of Cups. So we're definitely experiencing, like we've said, inner peace, emotional fulfillment, getting your needs met, having happy relationships. And I just saw 25-25. So there's a significant soulmate relationship for you guys then. I wasn't sure, because you know, 6 of Cups I do often read as a soulmate card, and then I thought maybe in this case it's just showing more about past cycles. But repeating 2s and 5s together for me, that's very much giving like soulmate, soul family. So it could be your soulmate with whom you are breaking this cycle. You could have a soulmate that came into your life to actually highlight this cycle to you and help you get out of it. Or with your soul family members, your plural soul family members. Lots of car honking. This is the 3rd one. And the other groups did not get any car honking, by the way. That's like your special confirmation. Yeah, you are definitely like this group, you're with your soulmates, or you know who your soulmate is, or you're with your soul family, or they're coming in the month of December and helping to highlight adjustments that need to be made so that you can have a more peaceful, fulfilled, and emotionally balanced life. They're here to promote and encourage your happiness, but in that process might have to shine light on some uncomfortable things that need to be adjusted. And then we have knowledge. Wow. This is knowledge of yourself. And I love that there's all of these dark horses, because dark horses make me think of mystery. And I feel like this was representing your subconscious. Your subconscious just running wild and controlling the dynamic of your relationships. And you're like, no, now I have knowledge. Now I see my shadows. So they may still be there, but because I see them, because I shined light on them, they can't control me anymore without my knowledge. Now, if I see an old unhelpful pattern playing out, I'm aware of it. I'm not just unwittingly like at its mercy. Yeah, this is totally you becoming aware of your shadows, and that knowledge empowers you and helps you have happier and more fulfilling relationships. You know, even just looking at the difference between these 2 cards. This is a wild creature who is like, nah. This is like the reactive you. And this is the calm, observant you. And you're aware of your shadow. And that being aware of your shadow is just gonna allow so much new happiness to come into your life. Being more mindful in your relationships, like choosing the healthier pattern, choosing the healthier dynamic. When I did this, it just reminded me of, this face reminds me of, I don't know how many of you know or watch rather good clips when you were a kid. Maybe that is giving away my age, but there was this song called We Like the Moon, and it was like 2 gerbils with weird faces, and they were singing about the moon. It's a banger. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but this face reminds me of the We Like the Moon creatures. Please comment if you know what I'm talking about. Also, if you do know what I'm talking about, Frightened Boy. The Frightened Boy was also a banger. When Britney Spears comes in and they have a techno party. Beautiful. Okay, so anyway, I'm sure that sounds very weird if you have no idea what I'm talking about, but that was my childhood. I used to like watch, you know those like e-card greetings? I used to just sit with my friends and watch them. And they would be about like politicians. We have no freaking idea because we're like 6. And they would be like singing funny songs, or like babies, because you're supposed to send the e-cards to new parents probably. And so the baby would be singing to the tune of a song that was popular at the time, but being like, hey mommy, I pooped in my diaper. Like as you send that e-greeting to like a baby parent. And then we were just like six to 8-year-olds like sitting and watching a bunch of these babies singing about poopy diapers and politicians. We're not sending the e-cards to anyone. We just thought they were funny. Anyway, enough about me and enough about you also, because your reading is finished. Thank you so much, group number 3, for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. I wish you a wonderful month of December. I know that there's a lot of stuff coming up internally to be addressed, but it's gonna lead to such great happiness for you, and I'm so happy that you have this soulmate or this soul family to learn these lessons with, and just, you know, consciously choose a happier life. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch exclusive pick a card readings just like this one, and you can also decide on the topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song, and I will also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you so much, group number 3, for watching to the end. Thank you so much for watching any and all of my videos, for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here and being able to read for you. And I'm sending lots of love to you, to anyone who appeared in this reading directly or indirectly, sending love to your higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, your soul family, your soulmates, all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And did I say your higher self? Because I'm sending love to your higher self as well. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.